everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a full review on the Roadrunner 1st Gen as I ride all the way to Voromotors headquarters to pick up some accessories. I have almost 400 miles on this. I bought it on Black Friday and overall this thing has been a blast. I'm going to start off with the pros. There are some cons. We'll get into that. I'm making this video because the Roadrunner Pro is coming out. It is available for pre-order at the moment for, I believe, $38.95 plus shipping and tax. This video is going to help you figure out if you should just buy the Roadrunner Pro or if the Roadrunner 1st Gen is good enough for you. So yeah, let's get into it. I think the first thing that stands out to me about the Roadrunner is the price. Right now it's $13.95, which is cheaper than what I bought it for, and I'm not mad at that. If you guys can name me a PEV that is around the same price that has similar specs to this as far as top speed and range, let me know in the comments because I would love to know. At $13.95 you can go 35 miles an hour and you can get at least 30 miles of range depending on your weight. I have not tested that out yet. I've gone over 20 miles in sport mode and I was still able to hit 30 miles an hour at the end of that. So I believe it. I've never had range anxiety, even on a group ride. I have fallen behind on one group ride, and that was mostly because of the uphill section. Otherwise, this thing keeps up on group rides as long as you know how to ride it. Next big benefit of the Roadrunner is the size. This thing is 55 pounds. That's like 2 bags of rice. That honestly, for a PEV that goes this fast, that weight is nothing. That is one of the biggest strengths of the Roadrunner, is how compact and durable and portable this thing is. I have no issues lifting this thing up and putting it into my hatchback. I have a 2-door hatchback car, and this thing, I don't have to pull the handlebars to fit it in my car. You don't need a motorcycle rack to take this thing around places. Compare that to my old bike, the Monday Gen 7. That was 170 pounds. Like, it was great. It had really fun acceleration and top speed. It went 45 and it got there in a second. But since it was so heavy and all the weight was at the top, it was just, I felt sketchy riding it. That bike was just not designed well. This bike is designed very well. All the weight is at the bottom. The battery and the 2 motors are at the lowest points you could really get it in this bike. So that makes the handling really great, especially when you're turning and leaning into turns, carving corners. If there was a car comparison for this bike, I would say it's like a hatchback Honda Civic. The super lightweight and very agile cars, they don't have great acceleration unless you modify them, but since the weight is so low and the center of gravity is so low, turning and cornering is just really fun. You can take turns way faster than any other cars, or well, faster than most cars when you're in that Civic. And this Roadrunner, you can corner and turn much faster than most PEVs I've seen. Handling is great, range is great. Let's see, why is this guy in the f***ing bike lane? Anyways, okay, we're just gonna, yeah, nobody respects the bike lane out here. Anyways, the next benefit of this bike, very easy to maintain. Honestly, there's only one thing that I would say is a mandatory change: the stem. If you watched my videos before, you'll see me tightening the stem from time to time, especially if there's really rough roads, which in Los Angeles area, like every road is rough. If you do that, that's most of the problems. People like to change the brakes. That you could do that. It'll be great for you, actually. Brakes are okay, but I already need to change the rear brake pads 400 miles, but that is because I'm downhill racing on the group rides like as fast as I can. And obviously, if you're going downhill, you don't want to use the front brake too hard, otherwise you will fly over the handlebars. So yeah, my rear brake needs new pads. That's why I'm going to Voro today, get some new pads. New pegs, and hopefully a light if they have it. Next thing about this bike that I want to bring up is Voromotors themselves and their customer service, how they are as a company. Basically, Voromotors seems like a solid company. They're not going to screw you over. They actually care, and the evidence of that is their CEO, Melvin Lian. There's a forum on Facebook for Emove riders. Melvin is in that forum and very active. He reads a lot of the comments and concerns about the Roadrunner, and he actually takes that to the company, his team, and implements them if he feels it is a good idea. All those customer concerns is pretty much the reason why there is a Roadrunner Pro. All those criticisms and critiques, concerns, he put all those into every generation of the Roadrunner. Like, this is probably the third iteration of this Roadrunner. First version of this had much thinner front forks. Okay, it had a worse seat. The seat is the biggest thing people complain about, and because of that, Melvin actually had his team make a new seat, and they're going to make that available pretty soon. I'll put a link to that, a picture of that right here. Also, another big complaint about this, everybody was having front tire wobbles when they got it out of the box, including me. So my first videos riding that in the groups, and handlebars were shaking, and I wasn't getting a great top speed. It just felt sketchy. Oh, that was sketchy. I could have got hit right there. Anyways, all those complaints about the front tire wobble and how hard it was to get those tubes off and on, that's the reason why the Roadrunner Pro has split rims. So that should be much easier to get your tires on and off, and there should be no front tire wobble. I haven't completely gotten my tire wobble out yet, but it's good enough. This thing is really durable. I've fallen on it once. I got scrapes on the brake levers, and I got a scrape on the seat. But other than that, it is great. And yeah, I don't have any issues with this except for the stem. I would like just a solid piece instead of all these different screws and joints that could bend. It's a great design. They put a lot of thought into the height adjustability, but since the way I ride it, I like to race people downhill and I ride on a ton of bumpy streets, I want a solid piece that won't bend. The lack of rear suspension, that is a huge talking point for the review videos I've seen on this. And so on this latest version of the Roadrunner, I had mentioned this is an upgraded seat from the previous versions. And honestly, for me, this seat is good enough. The furthest I've taken this is probably 25 miles. And no, it's not the most comfortable. And yes, I wish I had rear suspension. Yeah, I've had no issues with the handlebars. Like, I might not even replace the handlebars. I might just replace the stem because I do like this folding mechanism. This thing is a very solid machine, and I'm trying to figure out how do they get a 48 volt system to go 35 miles an hour. And here I am joining regular traffic, which is quite frightening. So who is this bike for? So if you're wondering if you should get this or the Roadrunner Pro, if budget means anything to you, if you want to make sure you don't overspend, you really can't go wrong with this Roadrunner. If you get pulled over on this first gen Roadrunner, And if you're in California, by the way, that's another disclaimer. Check your local and state laws. California is really lax about this PEV stuff in traffic and not registering them. Los Angeles specifically, and I'm in the Valley, I have never had any issues with this with police. They think this is a bike, even though it doesn't have pedals. If I did get pulled over, I would just point to the rear motor and say, hey, this is just 500 watts, which is totally legal. And I would say I'm just riding this as a class 2 e-bike, which shouldn't be a problem. But honestly, if people on Surons don't have issues with police, you probably won't on a Roadrunner Pro. So that's what I would say. If you have the money, just go for the Pro, I would say. Did I pass Voromotors? Yep, I passed it. What the I was too busy trying not to die in traffic. Okay, I passed it by a mile. This is why I don't talk in my videos very much, because I'm concentrating on not dying. So yeah, overall, I give this thing a very good review. They're not trying to rob you on the price. It's very fair. And what you get is so solid. If you buy the first gen Roadrunner, you're getting a vehicle that has been modified over 3 years, 2 years, I don't know. If you buy the Roadrunner Pro, there may be just some little things that need to be fixed that will be fixed on the next generation Roadrunner Pro. That's just how new vehicles and new technology is. Like if you bought the first Tesla, obviously the range is much better now and the hardware and software is much better. But you know, you pay a price for being an early adopter. How you doing? I scared the shit out of that guy. See, that guy had no clue that I was coming. This thing is so silent with no chain. It's ridiculous. All you hear is a tiny bit of the motor, but you mostly hear the tires on the road. And here we are. So yeah, if you ever come to Voro in Panorama, or I don't know if it's Panorama City or Pacoima, I always get them confused. But yeah, if you come out to Voro, it's right here, off of Van Nuys. Everybody's super friendly. And if you're lucky, you might even get to meet Cuban. Oh, are these police? Police. And they didn't even look at me. So yeah, there you have it. Like, they kind of don't care about this kind of stuff. In California, in LA, especially. So yeah, here we are. Looks like they're not too busy. Let's see if Cuban is in today. Oh, they got the Pro. All right, very successful trip to Voromotors. Got everything I needed. Thanks for watching this video, especially if you're new to the channel. Welcome to all my new subscribers. Make sure to support my channel. You stream my music on your favorite streaming platform, or you can download, purchase any song on Apple Music, iTunes. Check out my curated playlist. That's it for this video. Have a good one. Peace.